Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to money making builds and methods. This time we're going to be covering one of the final 1.36 cars available, the Maserati MC20, leaving just the ambulance left to cover, but I may save that for my more, I guess, ridiculous GT7 cars week, which is coming after the money grind week as voted by you guys. Now the Maserati MC20, let's have a look what to expect. If you haven't already, then well, go ahead and buy it. It's 300,000 credits. Overall, this is a very enjoyable car with more and more upgrades on it. So again, from standard, it's average, but in all honesty, once you've got those upgrades on, it's a very, very good car to use, and overall a very decent drive as well. So 300,000 credits really isn't too shabby or really too expensive. I'm assuming most of you's already bought it though. In terms of your sort of era, we'll cover that section first. Ensure you've got the wide body installed. Not only does it look better, but if you want to mirror this build, well, you're going to need it. In terms of the wheels, I've gone for a set of BBS RECLs. In terms of the diameter, I've got 21-inch, rim width is wide, and the offset once again is wide. Again, it will change your PP slightly, so it's up to you. Front Type A, side Type A, rear standard. It gives you a nice PP drop, meaning you can focus more on those high-speed performance mods for a very high-speed track like Le Mans. In terms of the wing, medium Type 23. I was going to say 33 then, I'm not quite sure why. In terms of the roll cage, you won't need to worry about it for this build. So let's have a quick look through the tuning sheet. Feel free to pause at any moment. I'm just going to give you a brief overview. I'm not going to give you any specific pointers. Just pause it as we go along, copy it down into yours, and it should match exactly. There's nothing kind of bugged or glitched, and I'll just kind of talk about a few specific things as we go through that I think are important to this build. The first one being, as you can see on the right hand side, or the middle now, is the power restrictor set to 70. Don't worry about that. There is still plenty of top speed in this car, able to hit 190 to 200 miles per hour. Absolutely no problem. In terms of the aero, it's the typical low to high at the front and rear. And then as you can see, the turbocharger is just going to be the normal one with the anti-lag set to strong. Now, the reason I didn't put the high RPM turbocharger, mainly because it just drank even more fuel. And that's the one thing I'm going to talk about when I kind of explain how this thing's built, because that's very important to how this overall build not only feels, but how you need to run it to get the most out of it. Now, in terms of the event, we're going to be going to a very, very fast track. Head over to Europe, head over to Le Mans, click it, and then go to the middle event. This will be the one with the minimum payout of 550,000 credits. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the MC20, because this is at first where I was very, very disappointed with this car. The fuel consumption on this thing, no matter if you run it as standard or with a high RPM turbocharger, is just absolutely terrible. There's a very specific way of running this. If you are running automatic transmission, then trust me, this car's not for you. You need to be running manual transmission, and you need to be running it very much akin to something like the Toyota Hypercar when that was originally built over a year ago. Essentially, don't let the rev bar fill up at all. This thing has 8 gears. It reacts very, very well to short shifting, and it will still constantly maintain its pace and pull itself along. And I'll kind of give you a few pointers when we have a look at the strategy and the way I ran this car in my most recent run for it. Overall, this car is high speed, high grip, but you'd really need to be conscious of that fuel saving and short shifting to really get the most out of this thing. Now, let's have a quick look at the gameplay. The first thing you want to do, fuel mix 6. Now, watch the rev counter and the rev bar, because this is going to be what makes all of the difference. As you can see, when we get underway, this thing is realistically only going to do 2 laps. Now, we are going to change that. We will manage to get 3 laps out of every single tank of fuel, and again, it's all about the way this thing is driven. So although it looks like I'm exiting corners at a ridiculously high gear, trust me, this car reacts well to it. There's plenty of grip, plenty of sort of downforce and such to allow it to fly through the corners. And on exit speed, well, again, it's got a turbocharger naturally, it's got a lot of horsepower, and it's going to quite easily pull itself along. In terms of its top speed on the straights, depending what fuel mix you're running, because sometimes you may need to run fuel mix 1 if you've kind of got to bolt back to the pits if you're going to be caught in the middle of a bit of rain, then in all honesty, expect anywhere from, let's say, 185 to 200 plus miles per hour rather quite easily. This car is very, very quick, even with that short shifting at any fuel mix. But I just recommend fuel mix 6, some very, very easy short shifting. Do a bit of lifting and coasting if you need to, and in all honesty, it's ultra easy to get that fuel saving done. Trust me, if this car does react well to it, you don't need to worry about it. It's not as bad as it sounds, and definitely the power restriction isn't as bad as it sounds. This thing is still very, very quick, ton of grip, easy to drive. Overall, if you're learning manual and short shifting, this one is probably one that you want to try and get used to. Now, in terms of taking the lead, rather quite easy, way before the end of the main straight. So yeah, again, a testament to this car, just how quick it actually is. In terms of lap 2, I live by this rule, and I recommend you start doing it as well if you haven't already. Watch that weather radar. Zoom it all the way out to 50 miles, which is the maximum, and just begin to monitor it. This way you can predict rain, you can see how quickly the wind's moving it, and in all honesty, you shouldn't really end up stranded in the middle of the track like most of the time the AI actually will, because trust me, the AI in this game is absolutely terrible, but I'm pretty sure we all know this by now. Now, as you can see, I got towards the later stages of lap 2 and I started getting some rain coming in from the right hand side of the weather radar. However, the closer it moved in, the more I realised it was rather quite broken up, and I can just continue on to my third lap and complete it as normal, meaning that I can then just go ahead and do my usual scheduled pit stop. As you can see, the rain's coming over, it is wetting the track, but it only just got into intermediate territory, and this car handled it rather quite easily, even on the racing hards. After that though, it just disappeared. As you can see, by the time it comes to pitting, all I actually need to do is just go and put fuel in it. I don't need to worry about putting a new set of tyres on. The racing hards, again, very, very good due to the short shifting and just how good the tyre life is on this vehicle, and it was just a case of filling it up and just getting on as normal. Now fast forward to lap 5, and as you can see, we've got some more rain coming in. We've got around about 10 minutes of the session left. However, this rain is a lot less patchy and it's a lot heavier overall. So I just decided to turn the engine up. I had a bit of fuel spare and just bolt to the pits to just cover it off with a set of intermediates. And looking at the track map, well, I knew the AI were going to be caught out. So as you can see, it's a lot heavier. I know it's going to hit the track a lot more than the previous bunch of rain. So at this point, I'm just going to fill the car up, put a set of intermediates on and cover it off. I know the AI is going to be kind of stranded in the middle of the track, and as you can see, when we come out, there's a lot of rain coming down. So lap 6, as you can see, I've got just under 4 minutes left, and it's around about just over a 4 minutes lap, and the AI, well, they were 3 minutes 21 behind. So you do the math. I'm just going to go ahead and complete one more lap, meaning that I essentially overlap the majority of the AI anyway. So it was a good thing that I essentially did this lap, because I think I got up to around about, I think P9, P10 or something like that. We'll see in a minute anyway. But we would have been overtaken essentially come the end of this event if we hadn't have already, you know, gone ahead and just boxed the vehicle. So, sorry, not boxed the vehicle, carried on with the vehicle. So I just kind of did it for more of a, you know, I guess safety reason than anything. You know, I may not have had to do it, but I'd rather just get it done anyway, just to ensure that, you know, I'm safe. As you can see, the Corvette's going to have to complete a 7th lap as well. So it wasn't essential, but I just wanted to make sure that I got the car home safe and essentially got my full credit payout. Sometimes it's just a little too risky to stop and wait. So in terms of the overall time, was 3 minutes 52 ahead of the last car. We got +1 lap on a bunch of them. 4 minutes 4.625 was the fastest lap. That was set on lap 2. And even with that 7th lap, it was only around about 17 seconds over the 30-minute barrier. This is easily a 7-lap vehicle. It's quick, it's decent on fuel when you do it right, and the tyre life is just absolutely incredible. In terms of the payout, it's the standard affair, 825,000 credits in 30 minutes, but again, this makes use of one of Gran Turismo 7's latest vehicles. Now, the Maserati MC20, overall a brilliant car, one when fully upgraded is absolutely fantastic, to be quite honest, and an instant favourite of mine. However, I was struggling for the longest time to get this thing built. I really wanted an 800 pp build for this, but in all honesty, the fuel consumption just meant I was constantly pitting over and over and over again. However, after some slight adjustments, I managed to keep a ton of the performance upgrades, just turn the power down, and then obviously go into a fuel saving mode, and essentially it just allowed me to create this, what essentially feels like a GT3 car built out of a road car, and I absolutely love this thing. Now, I'm probably never going to cover this car again, but I have really enjoyed my time with this vehicle, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. Thank you for joining me. Have a fantastic day, guys. Take care. Peace.